when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Take my hat off.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Doni.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. All right. Let's bless the Lord. You know, we like to start the week off right. Gracious Lord, make us truly thankful for here yet another week, a brand new day to go out forth and do your will and lift up your name. And we promise, Lord, to give you all the praise and all the glory. Had a chance to go by Union Baptist Church yesterday and had a wonderful time listening to the words of Reverend Mark Montgomery. Do check out our sponsors below. And by the way, CIAA does begin today. Kickoff was Friday out at BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport. But today we're going to talk about how do we retire? And even more so, how do we leave something behind for the next generation? To talk about this with us is Ken Ward of Phoenix Rising Solutions. Good morning, Ken Ward. How are you?
Good morning, Doni. Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First thing I'd like to do, Doni, is thank you for your commitment to Black businesses. A lot of folks should know, but I don't know if they don't know, but you've been supporting, raising up, bringing awareness and awards to Black businesses for years. It's one of those things, you've been doing it so long, I don't even know when you started, but I'm sure we're going back to the mid to late 90s when you started this commitment of bringing Black businesses, letting people know that we're out here and that we're trying to provide services, quality services to our community. So I thank you for that.
Matter of fact, you might remember some of my early days. You remember Quentin Roberts?
Yes.
And Quentin actually filled out my paperwork for my LLC.
Oh, wow. Yep. I do remember Quentin. So yeah, I mean, so you've been doing it for a long time, man. So and it's kind of your legacy of supporting Black business kind of goes into what we're talking about today. I've been in a series of discussions about what does it look like after a long career, after you've worked and been a stalwart in the community, whether it's through your business, whether it's through your profession, especially through your business, because you've worked and hopefully you've set up a retirement fund. Hopefully you've provided life insurance or gotten life insurance for yourself, and hopefully a whole life or IUL policy where you can pull out in retirement.
We got to get you. We got to get you with the abbreviations. You want to tell them what IUL is?
It's an Index Universal life insurance policy. And it's one of the newer buzzwords, but I like to explain to people what it actually is. It's actually a whole life. It's a permanent life insurance policy that mirrors the stock market. So your money's not invested in the stock market, but it mirrors the gains of the stock market with no losses. So it allows your money to grow tax-free. You have a death benefit, but you're also accumulating cash value inside the policy that you can use for a number of things. You can use it actually for business investment and take a loan out to yourself. You can also take drawdowns in retirement as a gap measure to plug any holes that you may have from Social Security, Roth IRAs, or the like. And I think
how do you make this? How do you make this topic sexy? Because it's not what people really want to talk about. I mean, especially in our community, being the son of a funeral director, people don't want to talk about when they die. It's one of them conversations. A lot of times, it's something that we haven't taken on just yet collectively as normal. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. And the way I make it sexy is I start the conversation with what we all talk about is gentrification. Gentrification is happening all over.
White people.
Yeah, I mean, well, don't blame it on the white people. But if you're upset about gentrification, then we need to have a conversation on how, because the not planning is what makes gentrification possible. The not planning is
not planning.
The not planning is what makes it easy.
So, because I don't have a plan, gentrification and bike lanes are my fault.
Generally speaking, in the black community, yes, or the former black community, yes.
No. Jack Young signed this damn law about the bike lanes, and next thing you know, 3 lanes of traffic on North Avenue is down to 1. I didn't do a damn thing about that. That's not my fault. That's the boy Ryan Dorsey.
Look. I had a conversation with Ryan Dorsey, and
does he have any kids? If he had any kids, he'd shut up about bike lanes because you ain't taking your kid to school on a bike. This ain't China. This Baltimore. You will get run over. And your kid.
In Baltimore, my biggest pet peeve about the bike lanes is Maryland Avenue. Maryland Avenue used to be the fastest way to get downtown in Baltimore. But now, with the bike lanes, it's just as slow as every place else. But no, what I'm saying is in regards to the property values, the properties going, folks coming in, and the properties being able to be depends, eminent domain, or sometimes for the properties to be able to be taken at pennies on a dollar. I think thank you for publishing my article in BeMoreNews.com. Vultures are at the courthouse steps. And I think what people don't realize is that when you don't plan, when you don't create a trust, when you don't have the liquidity to make sure that whoever inherits your property, be it children, spouse, can maintain all that you've accomplished and all that you have acquired during your lifetime, that there are people sitting on the courthouse steps that want your property and all your life's work for a penny on a dollar. And I think that lack of planning is a domino effect that allows for everything else to happen, everything else to fall. So you have, and it happens at every level. I mean, I think we've all heard of what happened to Aretha Franklin's estate. Found her.
For the record, what happened?
So with Aretha Franklin's estate, well, the one thing is that that her children end up going to court because they thought there was no will. Then they found a will inside of the couch with her handwritten. And so then they fought over whether this was actually a true will. And so the courts decided that it was the true will. And so those were the things that what she had put in that will is what was determined what was going to happen with her assets. But most of us don't even have a will in the couch. Most of us don't have an estate plan. Most of us have our properties in our own name, or our properties in an LLC that we own. And then we have no succession plan. Then we have no liquidity at all. And what I mean by liquidity is no cash. So Ken Ward passes away today. Still has to pay. And I always ask people, you pass away on the 2nd or you pass away on the 28th? If you pass away on the 28th, your people have about 2 days to kind of figure out what bills they still need to pay. At least if you pass away on the 2nd, they have 28 days to figure out what bills they have to pay and find out where everything is. But once you pass away, I don't think people talk about this enough. Your bank accounts are frozen. Like once your death certificate, your bank account's frozen. So any cash that you have in the banks, your people don't have access to that if not properly planned for. Go ahead.
You said once the death certificate is signed. Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah. Once the death certificate is signed,
your bank account is frozen.
Your bank account is frozen. So So now they have to, if there's no estate plan, now they'll have to go to court to appoint a personal representative.
So when somebody die, is it a rush to get the bank card?
I mean, even one, you wouldn't necessarily want to do that because that's illegal. But if somebody's dead and there's withdrawals taken after their death,
you can put a mask on.
Yeah, I hear you. I wouldn't advise that. I mean, each to their own. I'm just telling you, it's criminal.
Need that PIN number.
Right. It's criminal, and even $500, the $500 maximum that you can take out on a
he owed me $500.
All right. Well, like I said, you're gonna get that 500, and then that 500 comes with problems. So if that's the way you want to
get locked up for getting my 500 back, she told me come get it.
Yeah, you're gonna get locked up for getting your 500 back.
Damn.
So but again, it's imperative. You have all these black business owners. You have all these black folks, city, state employees out there working every day to pay off their home, possibly to buy some investment property, even in your retirement accounts. People don't even think about your retirement accounts. If you haven't properly planned, your retirement accounts get frozen too. So, and then based on what type of retirement account you have, a lot of people like to brag about the amount of money in their 401k, but that money is only for you if not properly planned for. So you die with $1 million in your 401k, your children don't necessarily get that money. Again, these are all things that you should sit down with a professional. And
that would be you.
Yes, that'd be me and my team. And we'd get your estate plan together. So
you need to get an ad on here, but we're gonna throw you a freebie up since you're on the show. How do people, or at least we're gonna throw you a freebie up while you're on here, but how do people get in touch with you?
Well, they call Phoenix Rising Solutions. They can reach us at 443-527-7224. We do a free consultation we do a free life insurance consultation. We do a free estate planning consultation so that you can figure out. That is right. 443-527-7224, Phoenix Rising Solutions, so that you can decide if you're in the best situation that you want to be based for your retirement and your inevitable death.
How long does this take?
The consultation takes no more than about 30 minutes if you have all your paperwork. And if you don't have all your paperwork, we can help you assemble that. Because a lot of times people did something 20 years ago, they don't know where it is. But if they have a little bit of information, we can probably get them hooked up with whoever the carrier was and get that information from the carrier.
What made you get into this industry?
The need for our community. Again, we laugh about it, we joke about it, but we've lost a lot of gains in our community, coming up from the South, living in these major cities, and we've lost a lot of assets because we don't plan properly. And the need is great, and I just felt that this was someplace that my skill set could be used to serve our people. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I do this. And the hope is, and more than anybody, most of it's education, like getting the word out, so that folks will at least sit down and ask themselves the questions about what do they want to see after they pass on with their assets. Do they want their children to have? Do they want their nephews to have? Go ahead. Do
you do trust also?
Yes, that is part of the review. If you don't have one, we can tell you what you need in one, and then our team can put it together for you.
And what about the will? Do you do the will?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're a full service estate plan and life insurance company.
Okay, so is it fair to ask you how much will I spend coming in the door?
That's going to depend on your assets. So you got a house and $10 in the bank, it's going to cost you less than someone who has a business, a house, and 15 investment properties.
What about 2 ex-wives?
Well, that's why you need to review, because if you got 2 ex-wives, and I've seen this, so you got 2 ex-wives and a current wife, you got $1 million in life insurance, and your first wife is the beneficiary on that life insurance policy, which means usually that your current wife, if you die while y'all are still married, she's going to hate you when you die. No, she's going to dig you up and kill you again.
Damn.
So that is why.
Have you seen that?
I've seen that, and I'll give people my own story. The reason why it's funny to me is because I had my first career, I worked for Baltimore City Public Schools, so I have a retirement with Baltimore City Public Schools, and I was reviewing my own information, what they send you, the accountant that they send you every year. And so my mother passed away back in 1996. And I've been married for 23 years. So as I'm reviewing it, I look at the beneficiary of that policy, and it had my mother's name on it, who had been dead since 96. And I'm looking at it back in 2021. So, even as a professional, sometimes you let things get by. So that's why I'm saying
you overlook or you forget.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's so important to sit down with a professional and do the review, because these are things that you don't think about in your everyday life. If you're a lawyer, a doctor, you're working for the city as a teacher, or whatever you're doing professionally, that's what you're doing. And then you're a family man, and then you're a father, a mother. So who's your beneficiary or what your life insurance policy is doesn't come up until it comes up, and then you're like, oh, I should have did. That's why it's so important that you sit down and do the free review, so that at least where you are.
What advice have you given business owners who didn't have anyone to pass the business on to?
So, well, again, that's going to be a lengthy conversation depending on what type of business it is. can you get the business ready to sell? Because at some point you're going to need an exit strategy, and your exit strategy should not be death if you've been working in a business that you care and love about. So you should be putting yourself in a situation to sell the business. But again, also those assets. So you also need to have a trust, because when you sell the business, you need some place to put that money. But then again, you also can, if you desired, save yourself on taxes in transferring the business in a certain manner. And again, all those are conversations that you should have, specific conversations that are going to be based on what the business owner's needs are and what their goals are.
Wow. What else should we talk about? We got 9 minutes or so.
Oh no. Well, I think we should talk about as far as the conversation that you had, like kind of thinking, and this is what we go through in our free consultation, is kind of about thinking about what it looks like in your retirement. So again, everybody, like, one of the things it's funny is life insurance. So everybody has life insurance that, I got life insurance. I have it on my job. So, the question always becomes, are you going to work that job? Is that your plan, to work the job until you die? Or do everybody needs to get a personal policy so that the younger you get life insurance, actually, the younger you get life insurance, the cheaper it is. Every day you live, you're getting older and probably less healthy. So you want to buy your personal life insurance policy while you are at your youngest and your healthiest. I think too, because I had this question, I will explain what's the difference between a term policy and a permanent policy. So a term policy is kind of what it says. The policy covers you from a series of years. So you can get a 10-year term, a 20-year term, a 30-year term.
And this is a bet that you won't die in that time frame. Right. That's what it is. This is a bet. This is like horseshoe casino. Daddy need a new pair of shoes. I'm not dying in 10 years. Bam.
No. So this is the thing. You're betting, the insurance company's betting that you won't die. You're actually betting that you will die. Well, so the 10-year term is, and actually this is great because this allows me to explain a little bit more about the term policy and when you should buy it. But the term policy is saying, hey, if I die in 10 years, life insurance company, you need to pay my heirs $500,000. So at year 10 and 1 day,
I don't even like these kids right now. I don't care about them. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
They won't even come over here and take my trash out. I'm sorry.
You're right. However, you got options. You can give it to those kids you don't like, or you can give it to the Baltimore City government, state government, and the feds.
What about the grandkids? What about the grandkids?
You can give it to the grandkids.
I love them.
Right. So this is why the importance of the estate plan, because you can literally skip right over your kids and give everything to your grandkids.
Don't send me the voicemail. I'm your father. Don't send me no damn voicemail.
Right. So you can skip right over them. But if you don't, but listen, and this is the most important, if you don't skip over your grandkids with skip over your children with a proper estate plan, then those children that you're talking about, either they're going to get it and squander it, and then the state and the vultures that we talk about on the courthouse steps are going to get it. So again, go ahead.
No,
go ahead. No, so again, it's all about what you want. If you don't want to make any plans and you don't care that you've worked all of your life and none of your heirs will be able to benefit from all your hard work after you're gone, then fine. Don't do anything. But if you do care, then you need to sit down with a professional and figure out what that looks like, because you do have grandkids out there who could benefit from all your hard work.
Ain't their fault their parents not smart.
Right. Not their fault at all. So Yeah. So I mean,
you got grandkids?
No, not yet.
Grandkids are beautiful. All them kids are beautiful till they get about 8 or 9.
Yeah, you
want to put them in a chokehold.
So you know. So yeah.
Does your legal background make you better at this estate planning stuff?
Sure. I would say yes. I would say
good answer.
Definitely. Huh?
Good answer.
Yeah. I mean, I would say definitely, because again, that's you're looking at the laws in each state, and how you can best structure it to get the result that the client wants. And then I think also
fine print stuff.
Right. Then I think also I know how to ask better questions to get the client to think about what they truly want and what it really looks like. Like for example, like we're talking about skipping the children altogether, and how you do that to get it to your grandchildren, and what a generation, because it's actually called a generation skipping trust. So what does that actually look like? And what do we have to do to make sure that happens?
I leave the coins. I leave the coins for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you can leave them whatever you want. You remember, you can leave them. You can leave them a long note about why you ain't leaving them anything.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it to that degree. No, I haven't seen it to that. I have seen, of course, a lot of people's position is that they gave the kids everything while they were growing up, and adulthood is all on them. Right, adulthood is all on them. So I definitely want to make sure my grandkids have, a head start. And we don't have to go back to grinding from zero, like usually the person I'm talking to who built the business, or again, we got people, we got clients in every walk of life, that want to see the grandkids do better, and some of them like their kids too. So
no, I love my kids, but these are difficult conversations, and in my dad's business, I saw that's when the fight broke out. Soon as Big Mama died, then here come this one sibling who ain't have no rap for Mama, ain't had no rap for Papa, but they all up in the bedroom, all up in the closet, all in the jewelry box, all in the bank account. I done seen it, and that's when the fight break out.
Right, and I think
that's the fight break out at the funeral, especially when the girlfriends show up.
Yeah, and I think that's again why it's so important, because we all have those. We all have those. People. You have more
all people.
Yeah, we all have those stories. About about that being nothing, and then everybody thinking that they're entitled to everything. So that's again why it's important,
especially the kids who ain't do nothing for their parents. I done seen it. I'm not talking about me. I done seen, man, I had a lot of people come by here crying about their mama and their siblings and the crud ball stuff they did. I done seen it. You're like, not them. They're like, yes, them. Shameful. Let's put your phone number up there one more time. Let's give you a nice old plug, Ken Ward. Thank you for coming out early in the week, early on a Monday morning. You going down to CIAA?
I am. I'm a proud Ram, man. WSSU CIAA champions, man. So I'm gonna go down there and watch them defend the championship.
And that's Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem State University, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Ram Pride.
And that's a historically black college, correct?
It is a historically black college, 1892, founded by Simon Green Atkins at Slater Industrial University.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get a little networking going on for you. Byron, hit that unmute button, buddy. Byron,
here we go.
You know a little bit about this industry. Say hello to Ken Ward.
Brother Ward, how you doing, man? You've been sharing some great jewels on here this morning.
Oh, good. Thank you, brother. How are you?
Oh, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be alive. Always great to join in and hear just Donnie always puts the best shows together, man. Make sure that people getting the right information.
Yeah. I mean, I told Donnie, man, he's been doing it for years, man. And he's one of those hidden jewels in the community, man. So he's been doing a great job for us.
So Ken, we thank you for joining us, and you got to come back when you have a little bit more time, okay?
I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
All right, big brother. So any recap for us, Mr. Deese?
I think listen, it's so good when we get a chance to talk about these kind of topics, definitely in a situation where folks are just nervous of talking about death. And I had a conversation the other day with somebody. I said, we have to put together a generational wealth campaign the way we do political campaigns. The same way folks are knocking on doors, vote for me. Here's why, laying out all the reasons. We got to do the same.
Lay out a couple of reasons for me.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. So one, if you have a generational wealth campaign hits right on what Brother Ward was talking about, and making sure that wills and trusts and power of attorneys and medical directives and all of these legal documents that are associated with assets that the family owns, that somebody owns. It could be passed down assets. It could be land. It could be property that's in the house. All these various things to, number one, to bypass probate in the court process, but two, to make sure that when one person dies, particularly if a breadwinner passes away, that those assets are beginning to pass down to the next generation. And the great part is if you do it the right way and you can document exactly how you want your assets to be transferred, then there's really a strategy for the next generation, because many times, you know how it is, somebody may have provided a life insurance policy, a dad or a breadwinner of that family passed down life insurance to the kids or somebody, and next thing you know, they got the baddest car on the street, but nothing left after that particular asset.
I want to ask, what would you rather leave your kids with, $1 million or common sense?
Common sense, so you can know what to do with the $1 million. Here's one question. If I give you $1 million, does that make you $1 million?
Let me pose that again. Between $1 million, leaving your kids $1 million and leaving them common sense, what would you leave them?
Common sense. Here's the piece. If I give you $1 million right now, does that make you a millionaire?
No, you got less than $1 million.
So at that point, the question is, what
if you don't know how to multiply it, that's right. That thing will get eaten up. $1 million is what? $750 at best.
That's it. So the main point is, do you know how to keep the $1 million?
Then you start going to the strip club on a regular basis and horseshoe casino live, couple of lottery tickets, couple of girlfriends, and you down to 300.
You done before the end of the year.
One trip around the world, you down to 250.
That's it, man. You literally have to know. Only way you can remain a millionaire is if you do the right thing with that money, that it begins to earn interest, it begins to grow, you figure out ways to flip it, that will actually provide resources over time.
And that means no Cadillacs, no BMWs.
Unless now here's a piece. So this goes back to Brother Ward's point about the consultation meetings, right? Because we can have a lot of things that we think we want, but do we have to buy it? Do we have to buy something that we want? You can literally, lease a property, lease a car, the fanciest car that you want. And if you lease it under a business, now it's a business expense. So now you're in a position where you can begin to deduct things that normally is just a depreciating asset on your books. It's not helping your net worth. It may help you, pick up a chick when you're riding around looking fancy in your car, whatever the case may be, but it's not adding to your net worth position.
So Byron, we need to, at this point, tell them who you are and your phone number, because presumably you have similar information.
I mean, it's important. Wealth management. Go to dreammakersnetwork.org. Opportunity to just learn more about these types of strategies whether it be wealth management strategies, business ownership, exit planning, really focus on what does wealth management really mean. You know, again,
Is that right?
it's one, dreammakersnetwork.org, dreammakersnetwork.org.
So
And
do you do the same thing that Ken Ward does?
so yeah, I am licensed to do, insurance, investment management, but the whole big part of the Dream Makers Network is to showcase other professionals throughout the region who are doing great things. So, work that I don't particularly do, or maybe there's somebody else who's part of the network who can do it 15 times better than me. We will make those introductions for you. We make sure that you get access to, number one, the conversation of wealth management, but number two, the best in class professionals to provide these types of services. So when you're talking about wealth management, there's a wide range. We're talking about investments, banking, real estate.
How do you know who's who? How do I look at you and look at Ken Ward and say, I'm going to go with Byron? What do I, the consumer, need to ask to see if Ken Ward makes a lot more sense for me, or Byron Deese?
Well, I'll tell you, and again, for us, it's introduction. So we want to make sure we introduce you to people who are doing exactly what you're looking for. But from our perspective, we've spent the past decade or more working with professionals in every field, particularly in those professional services areas, from accountants, lawyers, investment managers, insurance, mortgage brokers, the whole nine, particularly in those areas that helps with the wealth management process. I manage assets for clients. And so I have to go through a process of identifying who are the board of advisors for my clients. So who are I serve as a quarterback, if you will, to make sure that we outline what the goals are for this particular client. They may have a completely different skill set, or I should say an objective, than my other clients. So we have to make sure you can't just use the same people every time you're bringing in a new client. You have to make sure that it's almost a tailored approach. So again, that you have to have who's your lawyer, who's your accountant, who's your tax strategist, who's your real estate person. I can't hear you.
Got to go to that lawyer thing. Different lawyers do different things. There's a criminal lawyer, there's a civil lawyer, there's a tax lawyer, there's a corporate lawyer.
Yeah, corporate lawyer, estate planning lawyer, criminal, civil. I mean, there's a whole host of things. And so that goes back to the point of making sure that you're trying, at the wealth management space, you're really trying to tailor solutions for clients. So you can't just bring in a guy who's an attorney, but most of their business is estate planning and they're trying to sell a business. They may be able to touch maybe the beneficiary section of that deal, but they don't have any exposure to contract law, which you're going to need that type of support when you're negotiating a deal with another business, either acquisition or sale, or how that's going to work out. So it's important to make sure you tailor these solutions, especially at the wealth management level, where folks are really trying to figure out how can I create not only really when we talk about wealth management, this is an important piece of it. Wealth management is about how do you create something and keep it generationally. So how does assets continue to work long after? You don't have to move a needle. You can wake up every day and something is still producing.
Do you have Black professionals who can handle every aspect of this estate planning and wealth management?
Every piece.
I'm not saying I can't work with white people or Asian people or Latino people, Jew, Gentile, Muslim, Christian. I'm just saying, do we have Black people? Because we push Black business here. I don't know if you know this, but I got a book out. It's called I Am Black Wall Street. And we talk about the history of Tulsa, but also Durham and Richmond, and really any and everywhere that Black people were, including 500 Black towns in East Texas alone that nobody really knows about. And then, of course, the first book, Unapologetically Black. So do we have Black people in the Dream Makers Network who can handle this assignment?
100%. I have about 70% of my clients are African American. So, and I've listened. I've had to go through it the hard way. I had a couple of folks say, listen, man, I like what you're doing. I like what the framework of what you've outlined here, but I want to see some people who look like me, who I'm providing my money to help me with my money. Right.
It's very important to us. We go to college.
Yeah.
You saw him give a shout out to Winston-Salem State University. You know, I got to put a plug in Morehouse, Coppin, Morgan.
Tuskegee University. We got to talk Tuskegee.
Tuskegee. We should be circulating those dollars in our networks. We have the wealth. We have 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 trillion dollars in annual disposable income.
That's right.
So damn it, we need to be wrapping our brains around how to make this stuff work. Doing stuff, frankly, that our parents may not have been good at.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think this is a good topic, Donnie, because when we think about it, there was a time when we could only work with Black folks. So going back to your book in the Black Wall Street, we couldn't go out and, you know, do business and provide these kind of services for white folks. You know, so if I'm building together a team, I had to look within my own community during that particular period of time.
Then came integration and we got goofy.
That's right. The objective change, right? So if you're a Gen Xer, if you're part of that Generation X community, the rules were go out there now that we can, quote unquote, we're integrated, go and break those glass ceilings. Go to that corporation, show them you're just as good, focus on equality, show them that you're better than the white, be 3 times better than the white guy. You know, so that was our charge, to go out there and break the glass ceiling. In the meantime, that means we're not focusing on our own communities.
Yeah.
We're focused on going out and breaking the glass
Grandma's
ceiling.
house
That's
is
right.
falling apart,
That's right.
or grandma died. We moved to Texas and told them to hell with that house. Now we contributing to the vacant house dilemma in Baltimore.
That's right. The agenda that was given to Generation X, or Black Generation Xers, was not one that was going to add value to strengthening the Black community, because we were
not in Baltimore City. We moved to Randallstown.
We moved to Randallstown. That's the case nationwide. That's the case nationwide. So,
but now Becky and Peter moved back to Sandtown.
That's right. That's right. Gentrification. They came back in, and especially, you know, if they had a couple of extra dollars with the tax bill that passed with Trump's tax bill, which sped up, if you will, gentrification through opportunity zones, which is a whole nother topic. But again, there's legal ways for them to even speed up this process. So we have to know how to be ahead of the game on this. But at the same time, know how we got here. And we got here because we Black folks were given a charge to go out and prove to Americans, white folks, that we're just as good as them. Meanwhile, we lost all of the assets and the culture that we built prior to that point. And now we're trying to figure out how to piece it back together 50, 60 years later.
Well, we have to schedule you to come back. We got a big week going to CIAA this week. We also have the governor's reception. We were at the White House last week. We're also in Annapolis with the Maryland General Assembly. Senator Corey McCray is pushing a bill involving artificial intelligence to bring the state of Maryland up to par with the rest of the country and even supersede some of the expectations. So special thank you to all of our advertisers and sponsors, as you see listed below. Byron, it's been a pleasure. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I just want to say I'm so thankful for these types of conversations. We have to make sure that we are educating Black folks and the greater community as a whole on these types of topics. Economics is truly our pathway to where we're trying to go. I know we've tried to knock that door down through politics and, you know, all these other venues, but we have to focus on the advancement of economics in the hands of Black folks and what to do with it to create generational wealth long term.
What do you think about this show, Byron? We're always looking for ways to make this show better, how to make it pop.
I think content is everything, man. And the more, first of all, this type of content, this type of approach is beautiful. But the more content that we put in the hands of folks who got the resources, right? You see these long streaming folks who are laying out here, they need to know that there's content being produced on this show that can add value to their businesses, that can add value to their organizations. That's and attracting Donnie and everybody else who supports this program to their organizations. And so there's a long line of opportunity here to expand and take this to the next level.
Good deal. Well, Byron, we broadcast Monday through Friday on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. By the way, stay tuned to Be More News. We have a brand new website coming out this week with artificial intelligence. I tell you, it will take the Black news platform to a whole other level. We will be one of the only websites in the country utilizing this type of technology at this juncture. We like to, it's not always important to be first.
Yeah.
A lot of times the person who's first or the company that's first, they don't last. But we want to be near the front of the pack as we have been and keep pushing the envelope. And let me just say this one last thing. When we started Be More News, people in this city said, oh, the name is ghetto. Started another trend. You got Be More everything. You got it on television. Be More lifestyle. Be more expos. They got everything. Be More. But it started with BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
I love it.
Got to get out of here, Byron. Thank you for joining us.
Take care, brother.
Up today, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, world.